When I'm packing the night before for an airsoft game, I'm thinking about things like making sure that my guns are ready and tuned, that my batteries are charged, the gear that I'm going to be wearing the next day. So admittedly, there are some things that I overlook and completely forget about, and I'm sure that you guys are the exact same way. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about a few overlooked items that I tend to forget pretty much consistently, as well as items that I notice that other players forget to bring with them on the airsofting field. What's up, Airsofters? My name is Lane, and welcome back to the BB Warrior. We're here to help you have a better time, both on and off the airsofting field, and if you enjoy our educational content, I'd love it if you joined our community by hitting that subscribe button down below, and while you're at it, make sure to hit that bell icon next to it to stay updated when we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday here on the channel. So the first item that I want to talk about is one of those things I consistently see people forgetting to bring with them on the airsofting field, and that is food and beverages. So I see this a lot, especially when I go to like a smaller milsim game that's being hosted. Like, let's just say that a field is hosting a special event. This is one of those times that I see people not necessarily forget to bring it, but they're vastly underprepared for what they're going to need for longer games. Because there's a lot of people who that's their first experience playing an airsoft game where they don't stop every 15 to 20 minutes or so. So what I personally like to bring with me, I like to bring beef jerky for a little bit of protein. I'll bring things like, granola bars, Cliff bars, that sort of thing. I try to avoid sugary items as much as I can, and that kind of falls into the beverages as well. You shouldn't be bringing soda with you onto the hot airsoft field in a 95-degree day. This isn't PUBG where you can drink an energy drink and all of a sudden you'll be running faster and, you'll have better health. Bring water. I know a lot of people like to bring things like Gatorade or Propel with them. I like to bring standard water because I know that's going to be good for my body. Gatorade has a lot of extra sugar in it, and it doesn't hydrate you the way that water does. While it does replenish your electrolytes, that's a whole science discussion that I don't want to get into for an airsofting video. So while I don't think that it's a bad thing to bring things like Gatorade, definitely have water. Water should be the priority. Make sure that the snacks you're bringing aren't going to be weighing you down. Again, don't bring sweets. Don't bring, energy drinks or soda, because those aren't going to be very good for you. They're going to tire you out, and they could make you sick and make you go through heat exhaustion on a very warm day. Which, let me tell you from personal experience, you do not want to experience heat exhaustion. It is a very, very bad place to be in. So the next item that I want to talk about on today's list is cold, hard cash. Now, what I mean by that, you might be asking, well, BB Warrior, why do you need to bring cash to an airsoft game? It's not like you're going to be buying an airsoft gun on the spot. The reason why I like to bring cash is for a few reasons. If you forget anything else, more than likely that field will have it available for sale, even with food, or if you need BBs, gas, if your gun dies and you want to buy a brand new one to play for the day. Cash is great. And the reason why I don't say credit cards, the reason why I say cash, is that there are circumstances where fields just can't accept cards, whether they just don't offer it, they don't have internet reception so that they can charge cards. It happens. I can tell you as someone who has spent a lot of time being, a retailer at games, there are times where your credit card processors just don't work, especially if that field is out in the middle of nowhere, like a lot of the fields in my area are. So I like to carry actual cash on me. I've been to actual milsim events where, they're selling, drinks on the spot. A Humvee rolls up, they're like, hey, a bottle of water is $1. I'm going to want that nice cold water that's been sitting in that cooler for the last 5 hours rather than getting warm in my assault pack. So those are the reasons why I like to carry actual cash with me. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about is actually two items. However, I think that they kind of go hand in hand, and that is sunscreen and bug spray. Now, those are going to matter, if you're going to an outdoor field. However, those are something that I feel like everyone tends to forget, and it's so irritating, especially when I personally forget it, because sunburn really sucks, and I'm the type of person to switch over to a t-shirt during, that like June to August time of the year when it's super hot. So I hate going into work on Monday and having my entire arms just coated in sunburn and mosquito bites. So those are the two things that I always keep with me in my pack. Those are things that never leave. I have a specific bottle of sunscreen and of bug spray or DEET, whatever you want to use, that stays with my airsofting stuff. So that's just something that I notice that people always tend to forget, and it's something that can really, really suck when you do. For the fourth spot on this countdown, I want to talk to you guys about tools. Now, not every day is going to be one of those perfect days where you're going to be getting a ton of kills, your gun's going to be working flawlessly. There are going to be days when you have issues out on the airsofting field, and you should be prepared to deal with that, whether it's, something simple that can be fixed in-game, or something that you're going to have to do between games. You should be prepared for that. You should be carrying any type of tool that your gun needs for disassembly. So like with my Crytek CRB, they have a Allen wrench, or an Allen key, to have to, take out the body pin. It's secured that way rather than being captive like VFC, which would be a smarter idea in my opinion, but that's something that I have to deal with if I ever have to take out my hop-up. If my nub is, misaligned in either direction and my shots are going left or right, I'm going to want to fix that. So you're going to want to carry whatever tools you think you're going to need to deal with problems. So to really get that started, multi-tool is a great thing to have on you. You're going to want a flathead, a Phillips head, and then you're going to want, Allen keys if you're going to need that for your gun to disassemble it. Those are things that you're going to need, and this definitely does happen. The last time that I played Airsoft, actually, I watched someone completely reassemble a DSG because they had to. If they didn't do that, their gun would not be working anymore. So be prepared for that sort of thing. Whatever you are the most comfortable with, I always recommend, if you're not comfortable doing something with an airsoft gun, taking it apart, don't. Bring it to someone that will. Not every field has a tech department that can take apart your gun and who really specializes in that. So make sure that you're carrying the tools that you need to get the job done. Now for the number 5 spot on this countdown, and none of these are in any particular order, make sure you're bringing something to combat fogging. Now even the best of goggles, like I personally love my ESS Turbo fans, I can fog occasionally, especially if it's raining or if I'm wearing a lot of headgear. It can happen. Or if you're in the cold, you could not be fogging, you could be frosting over on your goggles. So I always like to have, some sort of microfiber rag as well as some spray. I personally like to use some from Revision. Those are going to vastly improve your experience, because if you can't see, you're not going to be very effective. If you're not being effective, you're not helping your team, and you're probably not having a good time. So defog is one of those things that I always like to bring with me onto the airsofting field to make sure that, even if it's not myself, if other players are fogging up, I know how that feels. It's really frustrating. That's one of those things that every airsofter understands, is how frustrating it is when your goggles won't stop fogging. So I always like to bring it for either myself when I need it, or, the other people that I am playing with. And before we get to the final spot on today's countdown, I want to know, is there something that you guys always tend to forget when you go out onto the airsofting field? Make sure to let me know down in those comments below. Well, let's get on to the final item on this list, and partially it has nothing to do with airsoft, and that is an extra set of clothes. Now, I think that these are really important for a few reasons. One, if you want to bring an extra uniform, if you're playing at a field that does, like a green versus tan, and one side just has way too many people, like they're, everyone decided to wear multicam today, it's nice to be able to switch over, throw on your M81s and play for the other team. So that's something that I always like to bring to places that do that sort of thing. I understand that not all fields do that, but when they do, it's important. But I like to bring a set of, just standard clothes, because you're not going to want to be, after the game or even before the game, you're not going to want to be going to the local Walmart because you need a can of propane and your full cry gear. So I always like to bring, standard clothes, so, a pair of shorts, a shirt, that sort of thing. And as well, if you're playing on a nice hot summer day, you're not going to have to sit in all of that sweaty, uncomfortable gear for the car ride home. Like for the field that I really enjoy, River City Airsoft, it's like a 2.5-hour car ride for me. So if I have to sit in a car with 3 other guys who are all in their sweaty tactical gear, it's all in the back stinking it up, that's pretty gross. So I always like to bring, some sort of extra clothes, and with that, I always like to bring an extra pair of footwear, because either, something could happen to my pair of boots, that they are, destroyed, ripped, whatever it may be, waterlogged, and I just like to be able to have an extra set of footwear so I don't have to wear those boots, especially on a muddy day. And to carry all that sort of thing, I like to bring a big garbage bag as well. That's going to make sure that if I do have any gear that is wet or just covered in mud or dirt or whatever, I'm not getting either my vehicle or someone else's vehicle, I'm not getting all my gear funk and all my dirt on there. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Again, if you thought of something that I didn't, make sure to let me know down in those comments below. But if this was your first time here, I would love it if you joined our community by hitting the subscribe subscribe button down below. And while you're at it, make sure to hit the bell icon next to it. And then make sure that you'll get an update every time that we post a new video here on the channel, every Tuesday and Friday here on YouTube. Make sure to check me out on social media as well. Links for that are down in that description below, as well as where you can pick up the BB Warrior patches. They help me to get better equipment, to make better, higher quality videos for you guys. This has been Lane from the BB Warrior, talking about overlooked items that airsofters tend to forget, myself included, and I will see you all next time.